What happened?
I don't know. Sleepy. Oh, hold on. Hello, I'm back. W piss. Yeah, it was a great piss. Um. Hmm. Let me save this. Okay. Bap Bapu Bapu Bapu. Okay. Um. I might not sound like I have. Can I join you? Well, yeah. That's what we're doing. We're just gonna design a character together. Hello, Kaita Animations. Always consistently in my streams. Glad to have you here. Um, I don't have much energy, but I do want to do this. So, we're gonna design a character based off of some random words I got from a random word generator. I clicked it once before the stream. I should have probably done it while we were streaming, but I clicked it once. I picked, I had it randomize 3 words, and the words we got were fox, debate, and star. So we're gonna try to design a character from this, and we're gonna try to brainstorm together, try and find ideas and see what we can come up with this. Fox and star, I feel like are quite easy, but the debate one I think sort of throws a wrench into it, but a very interesting one. I feel like that can have a lot of potential depending on how we utilize it. But yeah. Um this, by the way, debate, yeah, the word debate. Um don't I'm removing all thoughts of the world, Rust and Trenches. This has nothing to do with that. So whatever comes out of it most naturally is what it will turn into. It does not need to be associated with Rust and Trenches or whatever. I just wanted to design something for fun because I haven't done this in a while. So I just wanted to um, do it again. Yeah. So when you think of these, or when you see these words, what comes to mind? Let's just start thinking about some random stuff. Hold on, why can't I erase? Oh, there you go. Yeah, debate could be some sort of judge. Judge, courtroom. Yeah. It definitely means the character or whatever we're drawing needs to be smart. Yeah, and also it kind of ties into Fox, doesn't it? Fox and debate sort of makes you think of a cunning, trickster. Maybe we can do some sort of character that gives you a deal, like a wish granter or a contract. Uh, or maybe some sort of trial, the same way as a sphinx. Um, however the fuck you thinks. That's not how you spell it, but you know what I mean. Uh, you can make the creature two-headed and have the two heads argue each other. That is a very cool idea. I like arguing with itself. Two heads. We can also have like two masks. True, stars also have an association with wishes. See, we're already finding some connecting threads. We can do a sort of monkey's paw situation. Where the fox is like this sort of benevolent thing that grants you wishes, but tries to twist them in some way, and that's where like the debate aspect comes from, maybe? On another two heads, they can be heads on a scale that talk to each other. Heads on a scale is also really cool. Lawyer fox. Star. What else comes to mind with star? I mean, star makes it seem like it is very not extraterrestrial, benevolent. You know, like cosmic. Yeah, it can be some sort of cosmic entity or like a genie. That's not how you spell genie, but it's close enough. Hmm. I feel like this is giving me a very ethereal, kind of powerful Star Fox. It's giving me a very ethereal sort of feel to it. Like all the prompts make me think of quite a powerful entity. I don't think this is like a like it has a lot of potential to be a very big thing instead of being like a little guy just arguing with you in an alleyway. You know, the multi-headed fox could be like a Cerberus idea with the star calling back to morning stars, so Lucifer and all. I didn't know Lucifer was called the morning star. What is with that? I don't know that. So it could be evil, like a sort of uh the fucker, the ones that give you deals, devils, devil deals. Wishes come at a cost, but you can barter for a better outcome. Yeah, that kind of idea. We could, like, if we want to use the aesthetic of stars, it could be that it takes something from you that resembles a star. Like if it takes your soul or whatever, it has like a bunch of little jars or something that have like shining sort of star things in them. Something with the Scandinavian legend of the wolves changing the sun and the moon. What is that about? Make something with the Scandinavian legend of the wolves chasing the sun and the moon, not changing it. Yeah, that could also be interesting. We could do, like, it makes me think of an entity that's sort of on the same level as, like, Star Scourge Rodan, where it's like, oh, it stopped the movement of the stars or some shit like that kind of thing. Like, maybe it ate a star. Stars. Yeah, some sort of, just, it could be some sort of cosmic shenanigans going on. Symbolize happy moments, either future, present, or past, and the characters can take it as payment. True, stars could be it taking happiness as payment. Lucifer was the angel of light and has created constellation and stars. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, I feel like we if we're going with the fox sort of thingy idea, we definitely go like very exaggerated fox. Like maybe some sort of fox mask thing going on, and I think it would be very elegant, but sort of um mischievous looking. I want hands. I want it to have human hands. I think human hands always make it weird, but like very gnarly human hands make me think of like deals. But we also thought of the how the fuck does a scale look like? I mean, we can do some sort of like dark, grim fairy tale type shit with like actual like I like picture a decapitated like fox thing with a scale with two heads. One of them is like fine and the other one's like decaying. And they speak with like this sort of like dead raspiness, like tongue hanging out and shit and flies like over it. I like the idea of the heads being like together, like the neck being like a helix. So it's just two decapitated heads or necks entangled in a helix. like this. I love scales. Yeah, I think scales is definitely an interesting. It makes me think of, like you said, like the law, judgment, stuff like that, equilibrium. A take and give. Like the scale has to be equal on both sides. So like maybe depending on your wish, the what you have to wager for it has to equal it in weight. Vulpic Vulpecula? Vulpecula? What the fuck is that? Vulpecula. Vulpecula. Constellation. Hmm. Vulp Fox. Oh, I didn't know that. So I'm assuming Fox debate star were the random gen words. Yep. Yeah, I definitely like the visual of the two decapitated heads on a scale. I think that's interesting, and I think in that case we are going with two heads. At that point, I do like the idea of it eating stars as well. Like you feed stars to the heads and it makes them decay less or something like that. Like I can imagine if you feed we haven't decided on what stars are, but like if you give stars to this guy like sort of becomes less rotten, and then this one just very quickly rots away or something. So is it like these are arguing with each other? That could be it. It's like both of them are giving you an offer of a wish. So it's like you ask for a wish, and then both of them are debating who takes your wish, or like you choose which one you allow to grant you the wish, and both of them have like a, different like side effect or something. Kind of makes me think of the goat with eyes from Night Rain. That design kind of makes me think of that, where it's like a weird deal before you fight it or whatever. When the scale could shift based on which one speaks, a whole words weight weigh heavy thing. Oh, that is cool. Yeah. It kind of forces them to only talk a certain amount as well, which I like. Uh, what if it's like they're literally decaying as they speak, so the decaying side is getting lighter, and so this side is getting weighed down, and then this one basically dies, and so this one gets resurrected and can start talking, which makes it decay, and then get lighter, and then this one gets. So it's like they keep dying and resurrecting each other over and over again. It could be a funny thing where it's like falling on deaf's ear as well, because the other one only starts talking when the other one is dead. So it's not even like can hear each other's arguments. So it's just they're not even on the same page. You wish in both in a few as words possible try to get you to pick them. Yes, I guess. It's how the fox holding the scale is keeping them from speaking over each other. Yeah, it's kind of. I feel like the body would sort of have a mind of its own, kinda. Like the body is definitely both of theirs, but it's acting as like a third entity, kind of like being the parent in the situation, like taking care of the two heads on the scale. Like maybe when one of them blabs on too much, it just reaches a hand down. Oh, I feel like that would be such a cool visual. Like one of the heads start like blabbling on too much and get too into like trying to convince you. So one of its like gnarly hands just reaches out and pushes it down, and you see the head immediately go through like all the stages of rot, and it just releasing a final like death breath, like a breath of necrosis. It just goes, and the other one resurrects again. I feel like that would be such a cool visual. Like the body's just like, shut the fuck up. Let the other one talk. What, in a way, you're the fox body and the chat is the talking fox heads. Nah, nah, nah. Not true, that's not true. Could use Tibetan fox faces. Let's look that up. Tibetan fox? Really? The fucking grumpy meme fox? That one? Yeah, okay, so how do you make a deal? I feel like that will affect a bunch of the visuals. Is what do these guys want? What are these guys after? What is this thing? So it's definitely some sort of very powerful entity. It could be um like a devil where they are bound to contract kind of deal where they're incredibly powerful, but they are only powerful within the scope of what they are allowed to be powerful in. Um they look very judgmental. Yeah, I think I like that. So what do they take? Yeah, do you think okay, do you think this thing would seek you out, or would you have to find it? It's a fox, right? Foxes are kind of opportunistic, right? So I feel like yeah, it would definitely find you at your lowest, right? Kind of like a dream entity. Like it would come to you in your dream, or maybe like before you die, you get teleported to this thing, or like see a vision of it, and it offering you a deal kind of thing. So I think opportunistic is definitely the kind of no. Maybe if you're lost in the desert. True, that can also be the case. Lost in the desert, dying. So what is it tricking you with? What is it tricking you? It feels like it absolutely appears at your lowest, but waits for you to come to it when you truly have no option. Yeah, yeah, I do think that would be fun. Where it's sort of uh uh it still can't force you into a deal. You can still very much refuse, but it just is very patient. You get exactly what you wish for. I feel like that's overdone though. It is get exactly what you wish for. Like an important memory or maybe an emotion or something along those lines. Are those scales? Yeah. What does this thing care about? What does it take? Something related to stars. So stars can mean like happy thoughts. Hold on. Let me search up like meanings of stars. Maybe it wants your experience, the things that make life have purpose, and so it steals them under the illusion of removing regret. Yeah, it could like stars could be a sort of passion or love uh or the purpose like hmm. Star was a part of the three random word generated. Yep, yep. Do you know the artist, Simon? Which artist? Uh, oh, let's just draw and see where taking your high stream aspiration, like taking your spark. Yeah, it could be that. And I mean, it can be just like a devil that feeds on that stuff, so it just feeds on it. So what does it give you in return? It has to be like a monkey's paw kind of thing, right? Where you get what you want, but in a way you didn't intend to. Right? It definitely has to be something like that. That's just Devil 101 training, is you have to make sure to grant wishes in the worst way possible. I sort of want it like I feel like a cloak is a good idea to have in the design, but I also want it to be that the cloak is kind of the environment itself. Like you are cast into this sort of star starry night sky kind of location, and its cloak is just the background. Uh, and you only see the parts of the limbs that are sticking out. Which, cause I think it'd be fun to not show the whole thing. Cause then you still have some of that like cosmic horror kind of thing going on, where it's like, what? That's not the whole creature. What if it gives you the wish you want, but they try to convince you to make a slightly different than favors them? But they're like both telling you to not trust the other one. They could be really persuasive and just like hmm. Yeah, cloak made of a night sky, I think is cool. It wants your dreams. Yeah, dreams, aspirations. I mean, it could be just as simple as whatever you wish for is most likely what you dream of, right? If you want to dream of riches, like, oh, I wish for riches beyond imagination, and then it just takes your your passion or your desire for that wish. So you get it, but then you don't feel anything about that thing. Like, oh, you become rich, you become the richest person, but then it's like, well, it doesn't matter at all to you because he took the desire of said thing to grant it. They make you second guess the wish as well. What I feel like that's kind of funny though. What if they 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 literally convince you that your wish is dumb? They're just arguing with you and being like, "That's a bad wish. Wish for something else. You know you have other things you would rather like more." Like, what do you mean that's what you wish for? That's the only thing you wish for? You could wish for so much more. And they're just shitting on your wish choice until you uh, that could be like one of them completely agrees with you, same way like AI does, where it just hypes you up as much as possible about the thing you desire and are asking for, and then the other one just tries to convince you to change your mind and do something or wish for something else. Yeah, the Dungeon Meshi demon works like that as well. You're right. Spoilers. Uh, it takes away your imagination. Yeah, I think cunning and wordplay. So Reddit comments, yes, Reddit. One could talk you into it, the other one talks you out of it. Yeah, it doesn't talk you out of it necessarily. It talks you into something else, right? It is egging you on. Um, One of them's like, yes, great, great idea, and the other one's like, you could ask for more. You know, it's like nice, good cop, bad cop kind of thing, maybe. The manga's been finished for years. I know, but the anime, I know. I've read the manga. I've been spoiled. Are we talking about AI? No, I mean like one of the heads like just completely agrees with you and does not have the ability to like just say no. But the other one just keeps like shitting on your idea. Oh god, we made a Redditor. This is the ultimate Redditor. What if they have a really good innate ability to just like squeeze information out of you? Like the thing is, one of them tries to get you to agree to the first wish you think of, like he just agrees with you, but the other one tries to like keep having you rethink it because the longer you talk to them, the more like they understand you and like have a better ability of persuading you. So at first it might be that like I know a lot of the time like benevolent entities sort of just know who you are and what your deal is, but it might be fun with this guy that he doesn't know you, but one of his like side goals to keeping you there longer is to try and figure you out as fast as possible to give you the best wish that can benefit them the most. One head is a Discord mod, the other is a Reddit mod. Jesus. Cosmic gods or like cute goat. I feel like they would sound kind of. I mean, depending on how rotten they are, I feel like they would start very calm. I like it when like very strange like otherworldly entities just talk normally. I think that seems the most convincing. It seems so over the top if they just talk like mischievous bastards, right? Because then you know something's up. But if he talks to you like an old friend, but then it sort of gets more gurgly and raspy until just the final breath and it decays, and the other head starts up again, and their tone of voice might be a little different from each other, but they sort of just talk normally, right? And I feel like it might start very formal, and then it tries to copy your speech patterns. So whatever way it notices that you feel the most comfortable with it talking to you, that's how what it leans into, right? So it might start off as like, "What is your wish?" But then it's like, "Oh, like it keeps talking to you, and it like realizes, oh, you're like a skater." So he's like, "What's up, my dude? So what you wishing for, man? It's totes cool if you would like, a better skateboard. You want to be the best skater in the world? Nah, that's kind of lame. What about being the best skater in the universe, my guy?" Kind of like Death in the Castlevania anime. I really like Death in the Castlevania anime. That one was really cool. Just hearing it swear, because it just felt so stand outish. It stood out, but it also fit. Like I was like, yeah, of course. Like Death is sick of their shit. They just swear. It doesn't matter. It's the most evil thing of all. A politician. God damn it. But yeah, it could be fun to have the scale look like a constellation kind of thing. But maybe not. So how does it eat the head? How does it eat the dreams? I feel like it'd have to have some sort of like knife or so. Like I like it when taking something um taking something that doesn't have a physical form or something more spiritual ends up having a very physical looking action. Like instead of them just like pulling it out of thin air, it's like they have to cut you open, but it's in like a magical way. You don't actually die, but it's like they have to cut you open to actually pull it out of you, kind of deal. You know, so you could have some sort of like sacrificial dagger. We can go with the idea of them like killing your dreams, so we can have something that looks like one of those like ritualistic sacrificial like dagger kind of thing going on. Yeah, or like a sickle because of harvesting. And then what? It feeds it to one of the heads. One of the heads eats it. It could smoke the dreams. I mean, that's just sick. Smoking the dream. It just smokes your fucking dreams. Dude, I feel that, yeah, fuck that. It just smokes your dreams. I feel that adds such a like sleazy car salesman vibe to it though. I like it. He's just there smoking fucking dreams. It's not like, what that makes me think? It's not even that he needs dreams um to sustain himself. It's just recreational cuz he's just smoking them. So it's just like weed. Oh, I just smoke dreams, I ruin people's lives to just smoke them. Smoke from the stumps? Yeah, I'm thinking how he'd smoke. Oh, you know what would be fun? You know what would be fun? He smokes from the stumps, and the smoke comes out of the heads. That's the obvious fucking choice. Is he smokes from the stumps, and then the smoke comes out of the fucking heads as they talk. He's doing it for the love of the game. Oh, like considering he has a decapitated head, like two decapitated heads, it could be that when he cuts you off to take your dream out, he can just cut your head off. He cuts your head off and like opens it up like a fucking Pez dispenser to take the dream out of your neck. I think that would be a cool visual where you just like see your head, like you can feel yourself getting decapitated and he just reaches into your neck to pull out a star. So yeah, I guess a sickle would work better for that then, because it's like cutting grass, pretty much. Oh, the sickle can look like a moon. Of course the sickle can look like a fucking moon. and have a fucking wait. Hold on, isn't this like a flag of some sorts with the star and the make the smoke milky? Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on. Slow down, slow down. Smoke stream through neck hole. Turkey. Oh, whoops. Comes out the mouth, and then smoke is like a galaxy. Inshallah, give me your dreams, Habibi. Oh, come on. It was an honest mistake. I forgot if that was like a flag or some sorts of some. Hmm. Could each head be based off the sun and moon? I don't think necessarily it has to be. They're decaying fox heads. I mean, although yeah, having them like be opposite looking in some way could be interesting. Like a black and yellow one, maybe. Bismillah, kid. Why you wish for that? What the? Oh, hold on, hold on. So it's such a. So the cool idea is, I'm just calling it a cool idea now. I like the visual of him like, okay, that's your wish, right? And then he reaches into his like cloak of night sky, pulls out this giant sickle, cuts your head off, and takes out the star from your neck. And then you see him reach back. He takes back the sickle, and then just pulls out a pipe. And you're like, the fuck? And he puts your wish into the tip of the pipe, just pushes it down, smokes it into his neck hole, and then he just says like, "Wish granted," and blows like smoke into your face, and you get pulled back into reality. Just smokes your wish in front of you, you know. Wish granted, sucker. And you just get teleported back. Are his severed heads a punishment of sort? I have no idea. Hello, welcome. So you just see this, pretty much. That's all you see. It's just hands and the decapitated head, and then him pulling out a scale with two heads on it. Star Zaza must feel crazy. True. The heads got into a fight and no one won. That might be funny. That could be a funny backstory for them. They comment on how good a dream, how good a smoke your dream was. I like that idea. On like it could be fun as soon as they get what they want. The facade just drops and they just become incredibly rude or just don't care to like persuade you anymore. So they just like they smoke your dream and they're like, this shit's ass. You know, or they're like, you know what? You picked pretty badly. Bye. That was a bad dream. The tastier the dream could mean the the more potential it had. Like if they take some potential that you had and it was like incredible, like if you didn't take the wish, you would have become the best artist in the land. But because you took the wish, they took that and it tastes amazing because you had so much potential. You know, so the dream was like really potent. Imagine them with the judge hair. Okay. With the judge hair, I mean, I think that's gonna be a little too on the nose if we add the fucking judge toupee wig. Or it might just be the right amount of ridiculous. Yes? No. Yeah, it's a little goofy. Put the toupee on the stump. Okay, no, 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 no. We're not putting the toupees on the stumps. You know, man. Mm, thank you. I'm thinking maybe he has like precious dreams that he took that might be around his neck or something. I feel like we need some more like decoration on him. Does he have rings? They were Maine wolves? No, no, they're foxes. Foxes fit a lot better. And also it's one of the prompts. I can't change the animal. To study concept art, how do you manage to do fast sketches that show different versions of the same character? I just draw them. What do you mean? And these are like barely, like I'm barely developing anything. Dreams could be, yeah, yeah, didn't finish them. Okay. It could be that, um, they're contained in stuff that looks like lanterns. Lanterns or cages. Oh, you know what would be fun? If um the starry night sky look that's around you is more of a facade. So if you actually look closely, it's not actually like the night sky. It's a bunch of hanging lanterns with captured dreams in them that just look like the night sky because they're so far away. But if you like run around, you'll bump into them where they just like float in midair. These like captive dreams. Oh, and you could, I guess you could also exchange dreams with him. I think you'd definitely be able to be like, I'll give you my dream if I can have one of yours. And he's just like, go ahead, find one. And when you do, he lets you smoke it. He lets you smoke a dream to get it. He hotboxes his cloak. I just like the idea of you picking a dream and then he just turns the pipe around like this. He's just like, here you go, smoke it. Smoke the dream. Take the most crazy blunt rotation. A blunt rotation with the devil of dreams. POV of King Magnifico was cool and a stoner. Oh yeah, I was thinking about that. I just didn't want to mention it, but yeah, this is pretty much King Magnifico, isn't it? Uh, he's stealing dreams, and if your dream doesn't come true, you just lose that dream. So yeah, it's literally him. We're just making a better King Magnifico. So which I don't have anything against. Fuck that movie and fuck that villain. Bad villain. We're making a better one. Smoke the dreams, boy. The two heads just peer pressuring you. Yeah, I can imagine like his hand reaching around your back and the two heads like on either side of your shoulder. So like his hands or arms can just go anywhere in his dimension. They might be like really long kind of deal. So they're just like on either side of your head like goading you on with the pipe in front of you. This is why you shouldn't smoke. Oh, you know what would be really cool? Have the cloak have these like you know how those uniforms have like the buttons in front like this? But instead have it be stars with a string in between, so we can have like at least something that has like a form that the cloak can be comprised of. Cloak clasp made of stars? Exactly, exactly. And then his like captive dreams on his on his neck. World's best anti-smoking PSA. Exactly. Don't take drugs or smoke from strangers because they might be a benevolent fox spirit that is trying to goat you into losing your dreams and aspirations to smoke your fucking dreams. It might be too carnival-y, though. I want, I want some sort of jewelry, but I can't think of what kind of jewelry. Sick to have, like, piercings in the hands and arms. Piercings? Yeah, what is this guy made of? I feel like flesh just seems like the most makes sensey thing. If we want the, like, neck and head to be weird, then we have to have him be flesh. Or, I guess, fur. Heads can be decorated with earrings. True, true. This is not a fox, by the way. I can't draw a fox. I'll have to look up some references and stuff when we actually, like, draw them properly. Um, okay, I'm back. Yeah, it does kind of look like a rat. What kind of jewelry would be fitting? Also, hold on. If we're going with the theme of dreams, like, dream catchers could be an interesting inspiration. Gold as always, I know, but the pipe and the scales are definitely, like, the main. The hold on, the pipe, the scale, and the sickle are, like, the main features. Gold and sapphire? True. My prompts are battle, clean, gloom. Those have some potential. I can see it. Let me look on Pinterest. Gotta look for some inspo for the jewelry. Oh my god. Immediately getting some fucking bangers. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. I like the slabs. I really like the slabs. It's really cool. I really like this kind of stuff as well. We could like decorate the heads. That kind of a thing. What kind of makes me think of a benevolent, like a truth seer? Or veils kind of work that way, I think. Veils make me think of. Really like this stuff. This. I think definitely something in this line of eyes. What would eyes have to do with the concept? Not like criticizing the choice. I like eyes a lot. I just sort of need to find a reason for why it would be eyes. Hmm. I mean, obviously, like stars. We could. This is like me thinking of what kind of imagery would be depicted in the jewelry, because we can have jewelry in these styles, but then like add shapes that tie into the overall theme as well. So like stars, um, eyes. I don't know why eyes. So might be able to figure something out there. Um, True. Judging. Eyes can be judging. Ivory. Why? So is there something that we can use as a symbol of deceit? A symbol of trickery and deceit? The only one I can think of is wolf in sheep's clothing. So like some sort of hide, like sheep's hide or something like that. Sheepskin. or sheep motif, or maybe like another animal or symbol of innocence. He would try to decorate himself in a way that makes him look not evil. The eyes of the fox head could be gemstones. True. Like those death masks, or like those corpses that get decorated. So eyes of the foxes are gems. I do like that idea. Being literally two-faced is a good one. What do you mean? Like having... Oh, it could be like even the jewelry is like decaying on one side. So it's like perfectly pristine on one side, and then like rusting on the other. I like them having a veil over their face as well. Sort of. It sort of makes them look more like a ceremonial sacrifice, which I like they're decorated. Maybe some sort of glass or mirrors. Yeah, reflective stuff. Glass or mirrors. Eyes are covered. Yes. Mirrors. Hmm. I'm thinking at the moment. Hold on. Okay, symbols of lying. Masks, mirrors, broken or distorted veils, we got those. Double-faced coins, we got those. Spider webs, not really. Painted masks, makeup, puppets, marionettes, smoke and mirrors, wax figures, mannequins, facades, broken clock, false keys, skeleton keys, red herrings. We have a lot of them. We have smoke. We could have mirrors. We have two-faced. We have veils. We could have some shit happening with crossed fingers, but that's kind of a childish thing. But we can just like sort of hint at it in the jewelry if we have like X's in them, like this, in the decorations, and like an eye, like that. So we just have crossed fingers in it. Spider webs. I feel like what's the phrase? Smoke and mirrors. Yeah. Obfuscation, deliberate distractions, free smoke and mirrors denotes deceptive showmanship. So it smokes up the it smokes your dreams. It smokes your dreams, so of course it would smoke up the mirrors. I mean, it could be that the dimension it's in is sort of on like we do the like uh Renala from Elden Ring boss arena, like the second phase, where it's just like this empty void with like a lake, so you can see your reflection in the mirror floor, yeah. And then it'd be really cool if he has like a different reflection to himself. Or no reflection. It could be faceted mirrors too. True, true. Faceted mirrors. And if we do a bunch of these like crossed fingers, it sort of looks like a net, which kind of works into the like deceiving and catching people kind of idea as well. It's cracked only where you and the fox are standing. Now that could be fun. Well, I was sort of thinking it's like water, like you're walking on thin layer of water. I mean, is the fox standing? You can't really look at it from the side, really. The necks are also crossed. Good point. Right, the necks are also crossed. You know where the fox might be. Yeah, I mean the head is floating around. I feel like the fox was like, yeah, yeah, that's what it was. It's not like he's really standing. I like the idea of him like this, where that's the water effects stuff, and his cloak opens up. The hands come out. So would you see his reflection? The hands are appearing out of thin air. It's the cloak is opening up, so the cloak is the background, and it's opening up into him. But if we do the water reflections, then he doesn't have a reflection. Yeah, I think too. And it's not really that his cloak opens up like a draping cloak, it's more like a zip. Like just that. Would his head come out of it as well? Or just his hands? Because I like the idea of him, like, sort of coming out like this. Where it's like him, like, hunched over with all the jewelry, like, draping down. Sort of jingling as he comes out of his cloak. It sort of makes him look less scary as well, in the way that, like, an old grandma kind of thing, you know? And also puts him in the right pose to, like, smoke the fucking pipe as well. Oh, you know what? He could use the sickle to cut the hole as well. So it's like you can see a hand at the bottom with the sickle that's cutting it. Yeah, although it might look a little goofy with him just popping his head out of a hole. Can be intimidating if you do it with enough aura. Yeah, I feel like I need to sort of show that the sky itself is draped over his shoulders, you know? Why is there a massive penis on the screen? What do you mean? Is there a massive penis? And I guess the way he's coming out of the cloak, we can make look like, hold on, shepherds. Here you go. Uh, this. There's a type of shepherd's cloak that's just this big old like slab of fabric in some cultures. And then we basically have the triple, quadruple, whatever whammy of how many symbolisms we already have, with the idea of like the wolf in sheep's clothing as well, because we have it sort of look like he's a shepherd that kind of makes it seem like he's in like a sheepskin cloak, but it's the sky. What? Like you can see something going on underneath the layer of stars as it makes its way out and revealing itself. What you can see like the sky warping with like the same way you can see like hands tracing along the skin of a tent. You know, like tent skin, and if somebody like pushes in on the other side, you sort of see it like deform like that, but with the sky. We've definitely gotten somewhere. Now I just need to look up foxes. Look at this handsome lad. Ja. นั่งสบายไหมนะก็ใช่สิเอ๊ะ What do you think the fox head would look like with beards? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so just to lay out everything we've just designed. So it's a dude that comes out of the sky, or out of a dreamscape, sort of, with just hands and a neck, that made up of two decapitated heads. And he holds a scale with two rapidly decaying fox heads that decay um, like one after the other as they compete each other, debate each other to gain your favor, or like to convince you to pick them for the wish. Then he takes your wish. No, he takes your dreams and aspirations by cutting your neck open with a sickle, and then smokes them in a pipe. And the eyes of the foxes are mirrors. They have veils over their face. The floor is reflective. He has crossed necks like crossed fingers. We basically have all the symbolism you could ever wish for. And then something, I'll figure it out with the jewelry. Um, I like the idea of the finger jewelry. I do think I'll have those. Thanks for the ideas, guys. I mean, I wouldn't have never come up with this shit on my own, that's for sure. Yeah, and then he has the most elaborate fucking smoking pipe you'd ever seen. Gigantic smoking pipe. I feel like the end would sort of look like a brazier. Or like sort of those iron torches with the star in there. And then one of the heads is smoking. Finger jewelry with a chain connected to it? To where? Oh, like the ones where it's like it goes down the hand like this to like a bracelet. That could be fun. And then flies buzzing around the other one as it decays. So much symbolism you could smoke it. Yeah, and then in his domain there are these like lanterns With stars in them. That make up the stars that you see in the background and stuff. I use Krita. And it's just you looking at it. I don't know how big this thing is. Probably pretty big. I feel like this could fit into Rust and Trenches, even though we didn't plan it to. I could totally see this being in Rust and Trenches. Oh, by the way, I've been contemplating the setting to a certain degree. Like, I'm thinking about it at the moment. Because I feel like the setting's a little too grounded. I really like dark fantasy and sort of more fairy tale-esque over-the-top designs. And I think I sort of lost that along the way. So I think I want to push the setting a lot more with like weird abilities and stuff like that. Like I'm currently in the process of asking myself what I like about the setting and what to push more. And what I realized is my favorite parts at the moment are like the witches, the witch hunters, curses, bleeding belfries, the hatchfolk, the trenches, but specifically the trenches just as a location aesthetic. Not necessarily a war or anything like that. Just trenches look cool to me. So I feel like an apocalyptic kind of place where it's more run over by witches and chaotic magic. So the world's like falling apart and like entities that shouldn't be able to exist are like invading it more might be interesting. Um, like this kind of thing. And like puppet soldiers. Like I was thinking that we could push it so the Witch of War basically takes over a lot more than she has, or they have, or it has. Um, so it's not just that they create the war spawn, but like the war itself has gotten to the point where it's now just spurred on by the influence of the Witch of War. So the original like intention of the war is completely lost, and the war has turned into like this like impossible landscape, sort of similar to Burla, where it's just like infinitely repeating and stuff. And maybe the Witch of War has an influence where it like resurrects the soldiers or twists and contorts them so they can just keep fighting forever. A no man's land, essentially. Yeah. So something like that, where I thought of like it'd be fun to have these like puppet soldiers in the trenches. Don't know if it would be like a separate faction from Ram or Varus. Um, but basically, take the setting even further into the curse idea, with like the curse facilities and stuff like that going horribly wrong and putting a like plunging the world into a curse and witch filled apocalypse pretty much. But there's these like cursed soldiers that roam the battlefield that are strung up on strings that reach into the sky. And there's like these puppet people, right? There's just puppet people that exist now, and they worship this like this unseen entity called the puppeteer or something like that, that like guides them along and stuff. But you don't know where the strings lead. And I sort of don't know if I want the blimps and stuff like that to keep going. I'm not really interested in the blimps. I like the ornithopters kinda, but I don't know how far I want to go with the flying machines. But yeah, some shit like that, you know, and like doll makers and you know, curse merchants and more like into the scavenging territory. To all the curses was strangers, fatty cake. God damn it. But like for example, I like the idea of the war turning more into like a junkyard where it's just so big that many things can just be lost and there are weirdly peaceful corners to it because of how big it is. Um I'm kind of thinking going more like in like Mad Gods. You know Mad Gods, the movie, the stop motion movie? The realm in that one is so weird, but there's like these weird quiet corners. Not like nice corners, but there's like weird creatures doing their own thing, you know? And like yeah, I think that could be interesting. Just pushing the supernatural aspect of it. I think I've gone too serious with it. Like the war dancer is really bothering me. The war dancer with the big minigun. Um, Someone said it looks like the level 10 Korean MMO boss, and I was like, you know what? You're right. I kind of feel like I could push this world a lot weirder, and I'm not really crazy about the big guys with armor, kinda. I think I can do it a lot weirder. Yeah, like Burla is fun as well because it's just so over the top. You know, I like the over the top stuff, I think. Yeah, like I'd love to add stuff like this guy into the setting, but the setting doesn't really allow for that at the moment because of how sort of grounded it is. Uh, you know, so I feel like it'd be interesting to push it more. We could all stand to be a lot weirder. Yeah, exactly. I feel like it can be so much weirder than it currently is, just to like make it I to allow myself to just make a lot weirder designs. Like I really like the marionette lady, like that one. Just I really had a fun time designing her, and also just yeah, because it just felt a lot freeing. It felt quite freeing because I wasn't thinking about like the world and stuff, and having it be Ram or Varushan. I feel like the world would be a lot more interesting if it's just gone to the shitter to the point where like Ram and Varus isn't like the only thing. Not the only thing. What am I trying to say? Like the battlefield is its own ecosystem. Yeah, like we're more dealing with like different groups of scavengers or people trying to get by. But like the war has also opened up all these like very weird professions, you know, like organ collectors, doll makers that make parts for the marionettes or some shit like that, you know? Curse sellers, um, like scavengers that just scavenge, like, or yeah, just more weird. I need more weird. It's a little too grounded at the moment. Yeah. So what I'm basically, I'm not done with this yet, by the way. I still like have to do a lot of introspecting, looking inwards. But I'm just like really being critical of my own world and being like, what about the world do I not like? What is preventing me from enjoying it more? What could I remove or change that would allow me to like push it further in a direction that I would find interesting? You know? So I'm totally down with just like wiping complete like parts of the world out just to allow me to like make it build it back up more interestingly. Less of the two countries trying to take over each other's land, but more they're trying to claim more land in the battlefield. Yep, I don't know what would happen of what would become of Ram and Varus, but I feel like it's just gotten a little stale. With like me trying to figure out, oh, this is Ram's unit, this is Varus's unit. I just want to fill the battlefield with a bunch of weirdos. That's what I think I'm lacking is a bunch of weirdos. I'm too focused on like making individual units like the Rom tank, the Varusian war dancer, and less just like unique weird ass characters. You know, those seem to be what's getting me like psyched. Or like what I enjoy doing seems to be that. Like the marionette that was like a unique character. For example, like Nab, the scavenger with the sheepskin like outfit. That's also a unique character. That's not a unit. That's a guy, right? And those are the interesting ones. The rat catcher, the Jakob, Tondri. Those are the ones that like stand out instead of like big units. You know. So instead of like just designing a tank, I could have like a tank that's like made a name for itself in the war in some way. Like it's become a scourge of the trenches because it got cursed or something like that, or it's forever roaming at a giant artillery piece, you know, fueled by the war of wit or the witch war or whatever. Old tech army arises from an undead witch or something that was a part of the old world or someone curious of old stories that killed in old long gone factions outside the normal too. Yeah. I also like the war witch rising and taking advantage of Raman Varus's uh, turmoil and causing more chaos, slowly making a large coven with other witches that would side with her. Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like the world can be a lot weirder. You know, the curses can be less contained. The body modifications can be more over the top. The situation can just be a lot worse to make it more interesting. It's always cool to have distinct units in your faction. Yeah, that's also true. You know, it's good to have like a solid base ground to compare to. I don't know if I want one of my country's regions to be monotheistic or polytheistic at the moment. What do you think? It really needs a lot more context to be decided than that. You know, it's not like a choice one or the other. It kind of it goes by feeling more, I think. Just having to figure out which one would fit the theme of the place more. Just keep I would just like move on to other shit first. If I was in your situation, I would just be moving on to other shit if I can't figure it out. Um and then come back to it later, because maybe whatever other thing I move onto will give me more insight about what the country is like, and if they would be more prone to going one way or the other. You know? If you're having a hard time deciding, then maybe it's just because you just don't have enough information to decide yet, right? I had that problem a lot with early on with the countries as well. I couldn't make those big decisions just because I just didn't know the character of those countries enough to make them. But now it's like getting a lot clearer of like, oh, I can sort of get a feel of like what feels Varusian to me, what feels Rom to me, is because I've just been dealing with them long enough where I'm starting to get a sort of idea of their overall character, which makes those kinds of choices a lot easier because it just falls into place now. Um, yeah, I'm really liking this guy. I think it's interesting. It's a very weird character. I am very early on in my project. Does that make sense? Yes, that very much makes sense. I feel like early on it's just don't narrow in too quickly. Don't make big decisions quickly, I'd say. Just like draw shit and see where it goes for now. Um, because you sort of are still looking for what the world is about, right? So if you like make up rules way too quickly, it like forces you into a corner too fast before you know it, and then the world ends up being boring because you made choices arbitrarily without knowing which one would be most interesting for the world. I don't know what the cross section of a neck looks like, so probably have to look up some decapitated heads as reference, but I won't do that on stream. Do that off stream. That's so true. Thank you for your wisdom. Yeah, take everything with a grain of salt, though. I'm not qualified to give advice. I don't know what the hell I'm doing either. It's a lot of like just trial and error mostly. Uh, so yeah, don't think because I'm on YouTube or whatever I know what the fuck I'm doing. I have no idea. I'm just winging it, same as everybody else. So honestly, best thing to do is just to keep going and figure out what works for you. Because uh, same as any art form, world building is so fucking subjective. There's no how-to easy way to get it right. It works differently for everybody. Everybody looks at it differently, uh, develops worlds differently, you know? Some people like to do it incredibly structured, where they figure out one part of the world after the other. Um, I prefer a lot more just like mucking around till something coalesces, uh, which is a lot more hit or miss. You know, a high chance I just don't hit the right thing. You agree, and what decapitates you and takes a star out of your neck and smokes that shit, then lets you have a puff. Just imagine you fighting for your life in the trenches, then out of nowhere you get poofed into a starry realm, and a decapitated two-headed fox devil who's dripped out of his mind argues with itself till you agree, and it Yeah, the aesthetic of that I think is really cool. You're just dying in the trenches, and then all of a sudden you're like in another place with this suave. Well, suave isn't really the right word, probably. Fox devil thing. You know what? It also makes me think, like it having the sky draped over its shoulder, kind of makes me think of a bathrobe, because it's also smoking. It's so chill. It's just like it just like you've just poofed into this dude's house, and he's like, "Yo, what's up, dude? You want a deal?" And you've just caught him off guard. I mean, obviously not, but you know, just looks so laid back. Yo, I'm here in my bathrobe. I was just about to take a shower, but I'm huffing some dreams. Would you like to have a dream? Fancy a dream? And she had fancy a broski. Just so fucking chill. I didn't know you were chill like that. And then that's how he gets you. Bro, just huff on my dream pipe. And you huff on it, And next thing you know, he cuts your neck open and takes your dream and plunks you back into the trenches, and you're like, what the fuck? All my dreams and aspirations gone, and all I have is this shiny new gun. Care of a puff of your hopes and dreams. Kinda sick. I gotta like. Let me get like the image of like a night sky. This, and just try and draw the dude here. See what that looks like. Uy, aman pen. Got the scale. We're drawing a cosmic entity, devil, the two-headed decapitated fox devil that gives you deals and in exchange for your dreams and aspirations and smokes them in a blunt and gives you a puff. Right, yeah. How are we looking at this thing? I feel like scale. I'm struggling to figure out what the perspective of this dude is. Like, is the Yay. My bad. Just focusing at the moment because I'm trying to figure out how this looks. I like the idea of the sky bleeding. Like, as he cuts it open, it sort of bleeds into the floor. And it's sort of stretching like skin, kinda. Having a hard time figuring out. Get not open too much. What would his voice sound like? Again, I'm sure. Oh, the opening could also sort of look like a star. It starts like up. He doesn't look. Kind of looks like he's just peeking in. I don't like. It's too short. How do you figure out the words for a prompt? I use a word randomizer. Just used a randomizer. It's got a it's getting somewhere. So something like this, just emerging from the starry background. You're just pretty much nothingness. Cool. What are we making the Alice in Wonderland caterpillar's fellow pot friend? No, we're making a cosmic devil deity thingamajig, whatever. We'll figure it out. Actually, he smokes your dream. Although if we have shadows or reflections I feel like it'd help a lot with telling where the hell they are. I'll think about it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And I'll be right back. Some sort of mythology surrounding this guy, like trickster god of some sort. Yeah, I mean, definitely. If he was a part of the world. Still not sure if he is or not. Could be fun. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it could be just not a part of the world. It's a possibility. I think he needs to look more formly. Like there should be more of a form about him. I feel like for example, if this is like a person, he's more like slithery, if that makes sense. Like he's more like this. Or something like this, where he's more like slithering around. How's the design coming along? Pretty good. It's just we're sort of in the final stages of just trying to figure out the hell he's moving like. What would be cool would be what if the sickle sort of runs along the ground like a fucking shark fin? It's like he's using it to carve open the background, sort of slithering out of it more like this. And I like the idea of it like circling behind him or behind the person. Why not? I think more looming. Needs more looming. Hold on. it's a bit of a mess at the moment. This is the scales, box heads. Now, it's still not there. Him hanging it over your head feels kind of more appropriate. Oh, you know what would be a cool visual? Like, they're massive, right? So, like, he's hanging them over your head, so they're both on either side of you. Which means it's hard to, like, look at both of them at the same time. But when one of them decays, it makes the other one fall down, and it, like, slams into the ground with like the ground, like, ripples as it, like, clatters into the ground like just a decapitated head, and then it starts talking. silhouette just isn't working yet. Should it be more of like a curtain? just feels so unsubstantial at the moment. What do you mean? I don't know. I don't know what angle to draw this thing from. I think that's the issue. Like, I can't think of a way to depict this thing. lounging on something might be interesting. I just think he needs more of a body. Yeah. I think I'll take a break for now. I'll fiddle around with this another time. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I'll update you guys if I come up with anything. Yeah, I really like the concept though. I want to make it work. We just have to find something that does work for it.